tell you a story about a man from back east who learned from his granddad to make drink from a yeast. A youthful lad made a simple mistake, and a bit too much of the drink Pete did take. 3 days in a coma, induced by the gin. Peter was never the same man again. It wasn't a gun or rope or a knife. It was his family's white lightning that changed Peter's life. After Pete's fourth son was born September 34, he moved his family west to the Oregon shore. Pete built a home, future plans had been drawn, but prosperity was lost, the depression was on. His family in need, the thought too frightening. Pete battled his demons with swig of white lightning. Pete said to his wife, "My darling, goodbye." He drove away in the night. The children watched their mama cry. Pete drifted around and into North Plains. His first stop, a tavern, to lessen his pains. A devil's brew, he shouted, to quench my thirst. Threw down 2 silver dollars and said, "This is my curse. It's nothing to honor, just the cards I've been dealt." And when he left there that evening, they all knew how he felt. He made for the mountain high above town, to live all alone with nobody around. No running water, no power, no fridge. Pete's life was hard up there on Pumpkin Ridge. "Devil, come get me," he'd shout from his perch. A handcrafted chair that he carved out of birch. The man who raced with the devil and claimed to have beat was forever since known as Pumpkin Ridge Pete. Oh, Pumpkin Ridge Pete, you poor restless soul, we can still hear you sing when cold winds blow. Pumpkin Ridge Pete, been years since you've gone, your story's still told, your legend lives on. For a quarter century, Pete lived on the hill, drinking white lightning he made from his steel. He'd sing to the heavens in the dead of the night, and pour his heart out by kerosene light. Routinely Pete would visit Mountaindale's store to pick up provisions in the skins that he wore. His sack full of grub slung over his shoulder, this poor weathered man now looked even older. Folks would shout, "Pete, Satan's right on your heels." And Pete would say, "Good, then I'll know how it feels." On foot down the mountain to May's brother's store, back up through the valley, Pete walked into lore. A Pumpkin Ridge Pete, you poor restless soul, We can still hear you sing when cold winds blow. Pumpkin Ridge Pete, been years since you've gone. Your story's still told. Your legend lives on. The last time Pete was seen in town, 3 men took him on, but he knocked them all down. Some say those 3 men caught up with old Pete, shooting rifles and pistols at the drunken man's feet, not giving poor Pete the gentleman's chance. They kept up the onslaught, making him dance. 1 slug in his leg, then 2 in his chest, laid Pumpkin Ridge Pete to his eternal rest. The sheriff and posse of 52 men search for poor Pete and the grave he is in. Though Pete was not seen or heard from again, the devil, they say, knows what valley he's in. Reports of a hermit looking weathered and beat would prompt folks to say, why, that then's just old Limp Pete. A ghost of a man, some would surmise, was Pumpkin Ridge Pete, picking up his supplies. His cabin still stands, though hidden by trees. His spirit still walks and speaks in the breeze. The legend lives on, his story still told, by Peter's 4th son, to the young and the old. The legendary born with a rhythm and beat is told by the 4th son of Pumpkin Ridge Pete. Pumpkin Ridge Pete, you poor restless soul, we can still hear you sing when cold winds blow.